another life, yeah. Oh no, it's like I lost myself, baby. This shit don't feel right, yeah. No, no, I don't feel like myself, like I live another life, yeah. Oh no, I tried to kill myself, but it just didn't feel right, yeah.
Check. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to OG Savvy 6. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, turn on post notification bell so when I upload you don't miss a video. On this channel I'll be doing a lot of advice on how the industry works, advice on how to be an artist, what to expect and all that. I'll also be putting a lot of more music videos on here. I haven't been uploading here a lot because I've been busy with, my outside of YouTube life. You know what I mean? I still have another channel which is called OG WAP TV. So if you are one of my subscribers from OG WAP, I'm back on this channel too. But if you're new, then please hit subscribe, turn on post notification bells. If you're into music and stuff like that, and you're an upcoming artist, or you want to learn a little something about the game, this is that channel right here. It's also a 420 channel, so don't mind if I, take a hit of my pipe here, if I roll up a little blunt, or maybe I take a couple dabs on this channel. So it's also a smoking and a music channel, so also vlogs too. So yeah, turn on post notifications. Let's get this going. So today's topic, I'm going to be discussing my experience on having a manager. Now, I know a lot of people out there, a lot of artists out there who are trying to come up in this whole music thing. They expect that having a manager is going to help you get somewhere. Now, yes and no. Hold on real quick. Let me take a hit of this. Whew. I hope y'all are smoking too. Legal, of course, legal. Make sure you're over age if you're going to be smoking. Okay, I don't condone underage smoking. So, a lot of people that are trying to do music, a lot of people who are trying to rap, sing, they think that having a manager helps. Now, like I said, yes and no, because no, it doesn't help because, it really depends on who you choose as a manager. Like, sometimes it will help, sometimes it won't. What will help is when the manager has sources. So the manager knows how to get you shows. The manager knows how to get you photo shoots, video shoots, all this stuff. The more that the manager knows, the better the chances are of you making it somewhere. Now, if you get a manager who just wants to manage you and just waits until you blow up just so that he can get a cut and then he leaves, that's the kind of manager you don't want to come across. A lot of people think that, you could just choose someone to be your manager. Now, you can, but you really need to choose wisely, because if you get a manager, this is basically the guy that you're going to have to rely on. Okay, like you have to rely on this person. Some people, like Beyonce's manager was her mom. There are some managers who are family members, because it's just, they're probably, I don't know why, but I guess it's a trust thing too. Like, you have to trust your manager. My experience, let me tell you guys my experience of what happened when I had two managers. Not at the same time, but different times, okay? Let's take another hit. It's BTY, by the way. All right, let's talk about my experience. What is my experience having a manager? I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to mention any record labels. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep this completely discreet, okay? So let's talk about my first manager. So I had a manager who he was actually doing okay. He was actually really doing okay. And this was at the time when I was Galaxy 100. I didn't even change my name to Savvy 6 yet. I recently changed it. I'll get to that in another video. If you guys want to know about that, leave a comment down below. about why I changed my name. So I had this first manager that I had. You know, the way he came to me was kind of weird, right? Because I was at McDonald's. Okay, I used to work fast food. This was like a long time ago. Okay, I used to work fast food. He came through the drive-through, and I guess he was promoting his little nephew's CD in his car while I was, you know, out the window of the drive-through and stuff. And then he goes, "Yeah, I'm a manager." I was like, "Oh, you're a manager? Cool." Now, I've never had a manager at this point. Okay, this is my first manager. He goes, "Yeah, I'm a manager." And then I go, "Okay, cool. Well, duh, this is cool. You know, I found someone who could probably manage me." So I ended up relying on him, you know. At the time, I knew how to get myself open mic gigs. You know, I was doing little open mic gigs. And I would say, "Yeah, you know, I got a show out here in this city if you want to come by and check me out," you know. So he did. And he was really feeling me. He goes, "Man, you're nice, kid. You're nice." You know, so then he started talking to me about, like, you know, being a manager, because I need a manager, you know. So I was like, "Oh, cool, I'm gonna have a freaking manager. I'm gonna, you know, get really big off of this, blah, blah." I was getting a little big-headed about it because I wasn't experienced, you know what I'm saying? So we ended up meeting a couple times, and then we ended up signing a contract, you know, a management contract. And, you know, if you guys don't know what a management contract is, I'll probably talk about that in a separate video. But if you don't know what it is, pause this video, go ahead and look it up, and then come right back. So a management contract, right? And it's an agreement, you know, between the artist and the manager, and basically for like a 3-year contract. Okay, so I was really under contract with him for about 3 years. Okay, I would say 2.5 because I started dodging him later on, but I'll get to that another time. You know, we had a 3-year contract. Now, the manager was really supposed to help you out. Like, he's supposed to be the guy that's like, "Oh, you know, I got this for you. I got this gig for you. I got this show lined up for you." Or, you know, if someone was to ever do business, like if they wanted you, the rapper or the singer, to perform at a show, then the manager would step in and say, "Hey, look, I'm the manager. What are we talking about here? You know, what kind of show is it? How many people are going to be there? Does he have to sell tickets? Or how much does he have to pay to perform? Or what's the time slots?" You know, you're supposed to really be the manager of the artist. That's what he's supposed to be doing, okay? But he didn't really do that. Like, he did it a couple times, but plans never went through. There was just something about my manager that people were not, you know, allowing, like, to offer any such service to him. You know, it's like he wasn't being disrespectful, but he just kind of has this vibe, kind of like he knows everything, and trying to get his way, you know. And it wasn't working out with people that he was trying to do business with, and you know, that was a red flag. He can't even get past people. That's a problem, you know. And so I was really in charge. I was basically managing myself, and he was just coming along for the ride along. And I used to get my own gigs. You know, I had friends that did shows, and I did a lot of open mics, but I got the open mics. He didn't. Even though they're just open mics, he was supposed to go ahead and set those up for me. He never did. It was always me. So, you know, just this whole management thing, and he slipped up a couple times saying that, you know, if I was to ever make it big, you know, he's gonna get a cut of it, and he's just gonna run off with the wind, like just disappear. I'm like, but he said he was making a joke off of that. Like, he said it was a joke. Like, you don't joke about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And so that was another red flag, and it wasn't working out. So I felt like, you know, I was doing most of the work. I might as well just manage myself. So what I did was, there was only maybe about half a year left, maybe 6 or 5 months left of the contract. For as long as I could ignore him, as I could ignore him, I ignored him to the point where the contract ended up being over. So about like 5 months, or to the point where he just left me alone, didn't even pick up my calls or nothing. So I just basically tried to split the connection between me and him without having to tell him, "Hey, I want out." You get what I mean? So I kind of just rode the wave until it hit the sand. So yeah, there's that. You know, and I also had another manager who was basically trying to use me. Now, he ended up, this was a different manager. After I left this manager, I was like, you know, I know better now. I need to have a manager that has sources and knows things. I ended up running into this guy, right? And he ended up talking to me about like, yeah, you know, you're hella dope, you know, you're from the Bay Area, plus you're Filipino. And he was Filipino too. My manager was Filipino. And then he sat me down. He tried to, you know, kind of sugarcoat everything with, you know, all these artists that were going to be at events and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool for sure. This guy sounds more legit. So I went with it. And then so we had a couple meetings. You know, he lived kind of like almost 45 minutes away from where I really was. So I was always driving out to where he went, and it was really uncomfortable because at that time I was going through a really hard time. And, you know, our vehicle wasn't in the best shape at that time. So then I kept on driving. I had to keep driving. I was like, man, we're putting a lot of stress on this car driving this far. You know what I mean? And so we ended up meeting where he lives. And I was like, why can't we ever just meet where I live? You know what I mean? Like, why can't we just be in this area? You know, like, why do I always got to drive out in that area? So it made me really uncomfortable. I kept doing that. I was like, you know, I won't really mind the drive as long as I get to where I need to be with this whole career management thing. You know what I mean? That's really all that mattered to me. So if I had to drive that distance just so that I can succeed, I'll drive the distance. You know what I mean? So I ended up getting a gig from him that he gave me, saying like, yo, you know, I'm gonna have you open up for Mitchy Slick out here. I forgot where it was at. I think it was in San Diego. Okay, said I was gonna open up for Mitchy Slick at this bar, right? And it was cool because he made me primetime slot, which is basically the slot just before the artist gets up. So basically after me, you know, Mitchy Slick goes on. That's basically primetime slot. And he gave me primetime slot, which he did. He gave me like a big time slot too, maybe about like 15-minute time slot to perform like as many songs as I could. So that was pretty cool. You know, I felt he actually made me feel like an artist. Like he gave me the record label t-shirt. He gave me the record label hat, you know, and I looked fresh. I looked like I was signed, you know. They had a record label too. And you know, then tax season started to come around, and this is when I, you know, started to figure out that he was getting kind of fishy, right? And you know, I was with baby mama at the time. And, you know, he started acting fishy because around tax season, that's when he was starting to ask for $6,000, you know, to cover this whole studio cost, to cover the whole. Now, I understand, and you got to invest in yourself. I get that. But the way that he wanted this money did not sound like he was going to get me anywhere. Like, he was just totally sugarcoating everything and just trying to make it seem like I'm going to get somewhere. And $6,000 is a lot of freaking money. You know, and he's talking about, yeah, I got to get your CDs pressed, blah, 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 this and that. You know what I mean? Now, I get it. I know some of you guys are going to be like, well, that's what managers are supposed to do. But this guy had no sympathy for my daughter. I have a 2-year-old, well, she's going 2 now, but at that time, she was a newborn, okay? Now, he wanted that tax money so bad. I told him, look, I'll work for it, but I can't give you the tax money because that's all I got back from my taxes, you know? And he wanted the whole thing. Now, I have a daughter, and I had, you know, I was in a relationship at the time with my baby mama. We're split now, but, you know, that was my tax money to take care of my family. You know what I mean? And it was rough. It was a tough position because, like I said, I wasn't doing so good around that time. I didn't have a good enough job, so that $6,000 would have really helped my family instead of going towards something like this. And he didn't care at all. You know, and if you don't care about my family, if you don't care about my daughter and, you know, me taking care of my daughter and you just want my money and you don't care about my daughter, like I can't do business with you because we can't feel like family if you're disrespecting my daughter and you are my manager. You get what I'm saying? You're disrespecting my family. You get what I mean? So since that, you know, he's threatened me. He's threatened me to take me to court. Saying that, you know, you did sign the contract, and I said, well, you told me this wasn't the official contract and there was just a pre-contract, right? So I got him there, and then after that he just stopped talking to me, and then you know, we got into a little argument, and I told him, I said, look, I could take you to court because he has taken money from other artists that he tried to manage, and I know this because I've had conversations with one of his artists before me. And he said that he owes him a ton of money. Because he took the artist's money and kicked him into the dirt, just like that. So you guys got to understand, with these 2 managers that I've dealt with, you guys really need to make sure that if someone manages you, you need to know that you will be taken care of in good hands, that you will be financially taken care of. You know, a lot of your flights and a lot of your food and stuff might come out of your own pocket, unless you get a manager who's willing to take care of you and invest in his artists. Okay, you got to make sure that if you get a manager, you find someone that wants to invest in you too, because the key to making it in this game is who you know. Okay, think about that. Don't just have anyone as your manager, because they could be pulling your chain, they could be taking your money, they could be after something else. Once you make it, they're gone. That's how it is sometimes in this game. And it could be crazy. It could be really crazy, but the honest truth, this industry is greedy. A lot of people out here are competitive. You gotta think about that. Anyways, I hope you guys really understood this, you know, like, because it's rough. It's really rough doing music. It is. There's a lot of competition. It's very complicated. You know, it's like everybody's trying to go for the pot of gold here. You know, everyone's running towards that pot of gold. You're gonna have people who you think are better than you and all that stuff like that. You know, but as for a manager, you know, they're just supposed to be getting a cut of whatever it is that you make. You know, that's it. And they're all supposed to be there to get the deal for you. The manager is supposed to help get the deal for you, you know, and you got to make sure that you have the right manager. You have to know that the manager is going to be reliable. You got to know that he's going to be respectful towards you and your family, you know, and he's just got to know business. So it's really short and simple. It really is. It's really short and simple. Having a manager, you got to learn trust. You know, and once you sign a management contract, you have to abide by that contract. You know, unless, I don't know, you can, there's something's going on, and I don't know. But, you know, when you sign contracts, guys, don't think that it's something cool. You know, don't think that it's like, you got to be careful with these contracts. You do. You got to read line for line for line, because some people just get too excited and they just sign and think automatically they're a millionaire, when really, you were never a millionaire. You get what I mean? So I have a lot of things to discuss about music and the industry. So if you guys want to know more, then please subscribe, turn on post notification bells, follow me on my social media links at RealSavvy6 Instagram and J_Savvy6 on Snapchat. Also, hit me up on Spotify. Hey, all the links will be down below on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio, and more. Savvy6. I'll see y'all later, and make sure you guys stay lit. Yeah.